Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Seriously, if you're here, I love you, and I'm genuinely so appreciative of you for watching and tuning in. I love you. Okay, today's theme is like worst boyfriends ever, worst boyfriends of 2025. That kind of vibe. So let's jump right into it. The first story is short, but it's titled, Am I the Asshole for Refusing to Wake Up at 5 a.m. just to experience the morning with my girlfriend? My girlfriend, 26 female, has recently gotten really into the idea of slow mornings. She read some article about how waking up early, sipping tea, journaling, and watching the sunrise is supposed to be this life-changing experience. Cool. Great for her. The problem? She wants me, 28 male, to do it with her. I am not a morning person. I get up at a reasonable time for work, I'm productive, and I don't feel like my life is lacking just because I don't wake up at the crack of dawn to stare at the sky. But she keeps saying it would be so much better if we did it together, like it's some kind of couple's bonding ritual. I told her she's free to enjoy her peaceful mornings, but I'm going to enjoy my peaceful sleep. She says I'm being dismissive and that I don't want to make memories with her. But why does this have to be a shared activity? We do plenty of things together when I'm actually awake. Now, she's acting like I'm lazy or unwilling to better myself just because I don't want to sit in silence with a cup of tea while the world is still asleep. Am I the asshole for refusing to sacrifice my sleep for this? Or is this just an unnecessary expectation? Well, I love a slow morning, and me and my boyfriend are on the same page with that. So maybe that's why I'm kind of more leaning to like at least you could try for her. I don't know about 5 a.m. That's a little bit crazy. Like, I feel like you could still have a slow morning and wake up at like 6:30. We usually wake up at like 6:30 or 7, and I wouldn't call it a slow morning. We like to watch shows in the morning because usually after like work, we don't really watch shows together. We kind of like, he watches his stuff for the most part, but we sometimes do. We like have dinner and then we kind of go our separate ways, and I like get stuff done and then watch my shows and he watches his shows because we watch different shows. So in the morning we like to hang out together, and we both we feel like, I don't know, we like that because it's just our time that we get to spend together in the morning and like not rushing in the morning, and also just like to see each other before we don't get to see each other all day. I don't know. Maybe that is like a little bit, we do love to spend time together. So we always feel like we're like away from each other for so long after just like a few hours of being away from each other, and it's not because like we're codependent or anything. It's just because like we love each other, we like love being around each other, and we just like to hang out. Like we're best friends. We just like to hang out and like do stuff together. That's not to say sometimes I do want my own alone time and also time with my friends. And then he also likes his time, like golfing and stuff, even though he would love for me to come with him when he's golfing. But it's like, I think it's better for him to be able to like experience that alone for the sake of, I'm acting like it's for his benefit, but really it's for my benefit. So I feel like maybe you could just try instead of immediately shutting it down, and like just be like, okay, I'll do that with you once a week or something, because it's obviously something that means something to her. And I feel like in a relationship, it's not to say that you have to like do everything that your partner wants to do and always doing that even though like you don't want to, but it's like sometimes you make compromises to make your partner happy, and sometimes you make sacrifices to make your partner happy, but you can like compromise and meet in the middle, and you don't have to wake up every single day at 5 a.m. You could be like, okay, on Friday mornings, I'll wake up with you and have a slow morning with you, and then that will be my compromise. Like, I don't really want to do that every day because it's just not my vibe, but I would love to like do that together once a week. And then if she's like annoying about it, then I would understand, because it's like you're giving her something and you're giving like, you're meeting halfway, because you can't always like meet all the way over to what they want. Like, I feel like it's healthy to meet in the middle with a lot of things depending on what it is. But I don't know. For me, it's like, I don't think you're the asshole. I don't think you're not the asshole. I think you're kind of somewhere in the middle where maybe you just need to like, it's a relationship, it's a partnership. So I get why she would want to like experience that with you, and I don't necessarily, yeah, I kind of see her side, but maybe that's just cuz I'm a sensitive little butterfly. Okay, some of the comments. The whole point behind slow mornings is time to yourself without distractions, not making memories. I mean, maybe that's what you think, but I don't agree with that. I like making memories in the morning. What's wrong with that? I think everyone, to each their own. Everyone has their own, you know, thoughts and feelings about things. I love it. I love a slow morning, but it seems like everyone's on this guy's side. They're all like saying her reasons sound very Instagram driven. Yep, she watched some idealistic BS Instagram vids of good looking couples snuggling and sharing coffee, staring into the sunrise from the back of a VW microbus. 100% chance of the girls wearing wide brimmed hats. This is, in part, why I find modern society so exhausting. Everything is performative, everyone needs an audience. No one can be alone because if you do something alone, did it even happen? Okay, I think they're taking this a little too far. Like, I don't ever document me waking up in the morning watching TV with my boyfriend and drinking coffee. We like to drink coffee, eat breakfast together. I love it, and I wish that these people could understand. I like hanging out in the mornings, and I'm not typically a morning person, but when I do get up in the morning, I feel so much better, like about the day, about life, about everything. And just like I don't have as much brain fog. I don't know. I'm a night owl as well. Like I can stay up all night long. Okay, this other comment. Wow, this is just like my ex. He woke up at 4 a.m. every morning and kept telling me I need to wake up with him. I specifically told him I'm not a morning person. 4 a.m. is too early for me. Yeah, that's way too early. And I don't want to. He proceeded to start waking me up when he was up anyways. I asked him to please not do that again. He did it again, and I flipped out on him. There are other ways you can better yourself. Why can't she meet you in the middle? A bit ridiculous. I'm a night owl, but I don't expect my significant other to accommodate my schedule. Well, what do you mean meet you in the middle? What do you mean? Because he's not even saying that he wants to meet her in the middle. He's just full on turning it down. I just feel like it would be nice once a week. Like, I don't know. I mean, am I wrong here? Come on. I feel like in a healthy relationship, there are just things that you do for your partner that maybe you don't always want to do. But in the end, I feel like if you love your partner and you love spending time with them, then you end up enjoying it. But I'm not saying that he needs to do it 5 days a week. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like there's an easy solution to this, and people are taking it way too far, being so harsh on this girl. But whatever. Okay. We are going to move on to the next story. The title is My 27 female boyfriend, 28 male of 1 year wants to move in together when our leases are up, but he says I can't keep my altar. I keep an altar. It's about the size of a bedside table with a drawer. There's usually a couple of glass candles on it, some bowls and cups and imagery of specific saints that I work with. Tommy and I have been dating for a year, and our leases will end around the 1.5 year mark. He says he wants us to move into a place together. I was really into this idea. It sounds great to me. Then a few nights ago, Tommy was at my place and he asked what I'd do when we moved in together. He pointed at my altar and said, "Will you just get rid of it?" I said, "Of course not. I'll be taking it with me." And then he said that I couldn't bring the altar, that since he's an atheist, he doesn't want stuff like that in his home. I told him that we don't have to have it in the living room, that I can move it elsewhere, but the living room is just where I naturally put it. He said no, he doesn't want any religious stuff in his home. And then he said that I would be disrespecting his beliefs, and when I told him I wouldn't be okay with living without the altar, he made it seem like I was putting religion ahead of him, like I was choosing religion over him, which I'm not. But I don't think I should have to give up one of the only religious things that I even do. Is this a sign of long-term incompatibility? I've lived with an atheist before and didn't have any issues, so I know it's not something all atheists are like. See, that's the funny thing is when they purposely and specifically bring up that you're disrespecting my beliefs by doing that, and in turn, respecting they are disrespecting that person's beliefs by saying you can't have that because you're disrespecting my beliefs. I think that people can coexist 100%. And I think it just all comes down to the type of person that they are. Because I'm not religious anymore. I was very religious growing up. And I've talked about this a million times, so you guys already know the spiel. But like I don't like to consider myself religious anymore. I like to say that like I have a relationship with Jesus and it's a personal relationship with Jesus, and I like to pray to Jesus, and I you know you know what I mean? So, but I just don't like to like label myself as religious because I just feel like a lot of things come with that that entails a little bit of hatred, and I don't like to represent myself that way, if that makes sense. And I'm not trying to disrespect anyone that does label themselves as religious at all. I'm just saying that's my personal experience and my personal beliefs. But my boyfriend is atheist. He doesn't believe at all. And he would be fine with me doing whatever if I was like super religious or if I wanted to pray all the time. Like my mom will pray with him. My grandma will like pray with him. Like he does not care. He's like perfectly fine with that. He's like has no issue with that. And obviously like my mom knows that he's not religious, and so she's not like disrespectful about it or anything. But I feel like at the same time, you're atheist. Like you don't believe in anything, so I don't really know how that's disrespectful to your beliefs. I almost just feel like if she's not shoving it in your face saying you need to be this religion because I'm this religion, then that's not disrespecting your beliefs. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like you are in like a certain religion and you're worshiping a non-god. Like you're a I don't know. I don't really get it. I think he's making a huge deal out of it, and I think he's being disrespectful to her because if she's not shoving it in his face and trying to force him to be that religion, then they can peacefully coexist together. But I do think that because of the person that he is and the person that he's showing himself as, that is telling me that it's long-term incompatibility in my opinion. Okay, there's an update, so we're going to read it. My 27 female boyfriend, 28 male of 1 year wants to move in together when our lease is up, but he says I can't keep my altar. I received so much feedback from my last post that I had to thank you all. First off, for reading and listening, I want to clarify a number of things before I continue. Dating an atheist as someone who keeps an altar has never been an issue before. I am not seriously religious, and my beliefs have never stood in the way of anything. There are no rules I follow, it doesn't change my socio-political alignment, etc. It's a dedicated place for me to pay my respects to my ancestors and to the saints I work with. It's no different than you setting up a dedicated room for video games. I think Reddit should open up and learn about religion beyond direct examples of Christianity or the other big ones. I saw a lot of ignorant comments that clearly don't comprehend why people keep altars. And believe me when I say that there are many of us, and no, we are not mentally ill. That's just silly. On to the update. I used a lot of the conversations from my post to determine how I would talk with him about it. But it turned out he read my post and he read the comments himself. And even better, he was able to come to me with his concerns and communicate to me what he was worried about and how he felt. We ended up talking for a long time about the issue, and it boiled down to him being a little afraid and not understanding my practice. He said he has always been a little uncomfortable about it because he's been trained to see this stuff as weird and creepy and things like that. He asked me to explain it more and to give him some time to read up on what I was doing so he could familiarize himself with it. He took a few days, but in the end, when he came back to talk about it, he told me that he was no longer worried and that he was sorry that he made it such a big deal. He even asked if it would be okay for him to light a tea light now and then, because he likes the idea of candles as offerings or recognition of the deceased. He bought a stack of books to read up on regarding this stuff and is reading a little bit each night. He is very apologetic about how things went down and how he seemed, but I understand that his tone and behavior were absolutely due to him not understanding or knowing about this stuff. Things are great now, and we are still on track to move in together. The conversation about it not just being his house struck him the most. Thank you for your help, Reddit. Okay, thank God he got like his shit together and decided. I mean, he doesn't even need like yeah, it's nice to educate yourself about your partner's religion, of course, but it's not like he doesn't need to participate. But now that he like understands and he feels like he understands it more and is more open to the fact that she's doing that, because it definitely did seem like something that he was like defensive over, because he wasn't to be accepting of something is I don't know what I was going to say, but it's different. I don't know. It's just like it doesn't mean that you want to do that or want to participate in it, but you can still accept it, but that doesn't mean that like you have to be a part of it. You can just be accepting of it and coexist and the same. And that's like what I think is wrong with the world, is that I feel like we think we can't coexist, and then that creates so much division with every single community and every single religion and every single political party, and like that's just one thing that I think the human race will always struggle with, is just not being able to coexist and always fighting against each other on their beliefs. But I think that a big part of it has to do with like just human, how do I put it? A lot of religions, a lot of and certain political parties believe in like things that are causing hatred towards certain groups, if that makes sense, which I think is a big thing. And I think that's part of a big reason why so much division is created, because it's like, obviously we can coexist and obviously we can accept each other, but if that means you're saying, oh, I accept everyone, like for example, me going to a Christian church, I grew up in the Christian church, and as I got older and realized, like obviously as I realized the values and actual teachings of the Bible and things like that, and things that I disagreed with, specifically with like gay, bisexual, and things like that, like I disagree with the teachings in the Bible and how Christians go about it, and I disagree with that. Like, I don't think that it's a sin at all. I don't think that God would make you that way. If he makes everyone in his image, I don't think he would make you that way if that's not how you were supposed to. I hate the fact that in certain Christian churches, they're like, oh, yeah, we accept everyone here because you can be forgiven for those sins, because they treat it as a sin. And, like, I think that is a huge, huge part and a misunderstanding that they have with the Bible, because I truly don't think that is what the Bible means when they talk about stuff like that. But at the same time, I just don't agree with a lot of this stuff. I don't know. The Bible's a little bit much. Like, when I read it when I was younger, I was like, why is God sacrificing all these animals and making people sacrifice things for him and stuff? And like, that never made sense to me. I don't know. Am I making sense? Like, I just think that coexisting can happen if people just actually accept people and not say that they accept people, but they really don't, because they're contradicting themselves by saying, oh, that's a sin though. Like, I accept you for who you are, but that's a sin and you can be forgiven. Like, that just contradicts the whole point of accepting someone and coexisting. And that's what bothers me. So, I don't know. I feel like a lot of things would have to change within a lot of people. And unfortunately, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think that the whole point of religion that a lot of people are missing is that it's about love and acceptance. And I think that is what Jesus represents and was supposed to represent. Like, I think that it was all about love and acceptance. And the fact that a lot of things that religion represents, if you think about it, it's hatred towards certain groups. And that just doesn't sit right with me. And I think that is where we go wrong in the world. And yeah. I always get on a tangent about that because I just feel so. I just think as I've gotten older, I just have started to feel a lot more passionate about it. And I don't know. I just want everyone to feel loved and accepted in the world. Unless you're like a serial killer, like then bye. You can jump off the face of the earth for all I care. But people are just crazy. And I hate that people aren't accepting, not even accepting, because that wouldn't even be the word, just like, it's just normal. That's life. This is what life is. We are all different. We all grow up differently. We all are born differently with different wires in our brain and different feelings. And that's what makes us who we are. And I just don't think that people should be judged or ostracized for that. And unfortunately, they still are. Okay, let's read some comments. This one says, LOL, this is like a reverse of the usual relationship drama posts I read here. Instead of the relationship being made to seem perfect and functional and healthy, and then the update drops the, oh, by the way, when we first met, he was in prison for mass murder, red flag. This one starts out with the red flag asshole behavior and turns into something less insane and worrisome. Exactly. It's a refreshingly reasonable scenario in which mistakes are made, but so are reparations. But this is Reddit. No one even tried to hit someone with a bottle. What the F? Where's the random pregnancy or the twins just discovered? I have a feeling it's because it's 10 years old. Oh, this is 10 years old. Oh my god. Even in the 3 years since I started using Reddit, I've noticed how stories on here suddenly read very embellished, shall we say. I read them for the extravagant plot twists now. Honestly, same. Like, sometimes I love when they end up being happy, but sometimes for the drama, like, I want it to be something crazy, and they're like, "I've kicked him out, kicked him to the curb, goodbye, I'm never speaking to him again," you know? Sometimes it's just fun, but it's also good once in a while to have a refreshing story where it's like, "Okay, finally something good happens," because sometimes, like, after reading so many stories all the time, it does get in your head a little bit, and then you start to, like, lose hope in society. Okay, next story. Am I the asshole for refusing to step down as a bridesmaid because of my boyfriend's ultimatum? Hi, I'm in a tough situation and need an outside perspective beyond my friends and family. I'm using fake names and a throwaway for privacy. I'll try to keep this short. I, 26 female, have been with my boyfriend Tommy, 27 male, for 11 months. He's a really caring guy and has always treated me well. Like any couple, we've had small disagreements, but nothing major until now. For context, my older sister, Kimmy, 31 female, is getting married to her fiance, Gray, 23 male, in 3 months. Gray happens to be the cousin of my ex-boyfriend, Levi, 26 male. Levi and I dated from freshman year of high school through college until I broke up with him 2 years ago. He had developed feelings for his now girlfriend, Tammy, 24 female, whom he met in college. The breakup was mutual, and there are no hard feelings. We're on good terms. I've known Levi since I was 6, and we were best friends growing up, sharing the same friend group. Because of that, I spent a lot of time at his house, and his family became like a second family to me. Even after our breakup, his parents, 2 older sisters, and extended family continued inviting me to family events. I attended a few, but once Levi told me that Tammy felt uncomfortable with my presence, I started going less out of respect. This was before I started dating Tommy. Kimmy kept going to family events since she was with Gray. That said, I still occasionally see Levi at small parties hosted by my best friend, May, 25 female. She and her boyfriend, Hunter, 26 male, are still close with Levi, so he's sometimes there. We don't really interact much at these events. Tommy has met Levi at these gatherings and has even spoken with him a few times. He never mentioned having an issue with it. Now, on to the problem. Kimmy and Gray's wedding is a small, intimate event with only close friends and family. I'm a bridesmaid, and Levi is a groomsman, which means we're paired up to walk down the aisle together. I was initially a bit uncomfortable with it, but I love my sister and want to support her, so I put my feelings aside. Levi's girlfriend, Tammy, is invited, and she's totally fine with everything, as the most interaction Levi and I will have is walking together for a few seconds. But Tommy is furious. He now refuses to attend the wedding and has given me an ultimatum. Either I step down as a bridesmaid, attend only as a guest, or not go at all. I, of course, told him no. This is my sister's wedding, and I want to be there for her. It's not my fault her fiance is related to Levi. Tommy lost it. He shouted at me, called me horrible names, accused me of wanting to cheat on him with Levi, then broke some of my things before storming out. He's now staying at a friend's place and refuses to see or talk to me. I've never seen him this angry before. I have never given him a reason to think I'd cheat on him, and Levi and I don't go out of our way to talk to each other, so I have no idea where this is coming from. After talking to May and my friends about it, word got back to Levi, and he actually offered to step down as a groomsman to avoid drama. I told him not to do that. My family now knows what happened because Levi told Gray, and my parents are furious. Kimmy is disgusted by how Tommy treated me. They don't want him at the wedding anymore. I've tried reaching out to Tommy, but his friend texted me and he doesn't want to see me. I'm honestly worried about him because his reaction is completely out of character. He's always been a great boyfriend, but this whole situation is making me question some things. So am I the asshole? My friends and family say I'm not, but I need an outsider's perspective. Of course you're not. Absolutely not. It definitely shows a lot more about your boyfriend and his insecurities that he needs to work through. And he's clearly not at the point in life where he's been able to do self-reflection about that. And that's something that he definitely needs to do. But unfortunately, that's something that you can't make him do and no one can make him do. So, and also maybe he will never do it. Maybe it will take him 20 years to come to the realization that it's an unhealthy reaction and it's an unhealthy, like, of course you're going to feel uncomfortable. I mean, some people may not, but like I can understand feeling uncomfortable and being like, oh, don't really like that, but like it's fine. That's what happens. That's how the cookie crumbles. That's just the situation. That's life. And sometimes you can't avoid things like this. So whatever, you toughen up and just go with the flow. It's not like they're gonna go fuck in the closet while they all, like, when they're waiting to walk out to the aisle and have their sister, or like have their sister and their brother get married, or whoever this, I don't know if this is the groom's brother or what, but you know what I mean. And obviously, like, him showing that type of anger, I understand getting upset, but to the point where you're, like, breaking stuff, that's crazy. Never have I ever done that. Like, I've never been so angry to the point where I'm, like breaking something. That's just too much, and that shows, like, a side of aggressiveness that I don't even wanna be a part of because you don't know how that could escalate in the future. Like, as your relationship continues to grow or you guys are together for 10 years or whatever and he gets more and more and more comfortable, is he going to end up throwing that at your face? Like, you don't know, and that's kind of scary, and that's a red flag for sure. Okay, there's some edits that we're going to read. Edit: thank you everyone for opening my eyes. I'm going to ditch Tommy and pack his things. I will be contacting his friend he is staying with to fetch most of his things. Again, thank you. Edit 2: this is my last edit. A lot of people are asking why I couldn't be paired with someone else. My sister and her fiance chose the pairings based on what felt most comfortable for everyone. Since Levi and I already know each other well and are on good terms, they thought it would be the least awkward option. It wasn't done to cause drama, just to make things easier for the bridal party. I know Levi and I have a long history together. We've been through a lot. I still care for him from a distance, but our relationship truly began to break down after we lost our son, who was stillborn. We were young, and while we stayed together for a few more years, things were never the same. Eventually, Levi developed feelings for someone else, his current girlfriend, and he was honest with me about it before pursuing her. We ended things on mutual terms because in that moment, I realized I no longer felt the same way either. We simply fell out of love. It happens. Okay, don't ever say that to me. No, I hate that. That's my biggest fear is like fall, cuz I feel like honestly, I feel like I definitely fell out of love with my ex, but I feel like there was a lot of reasons. Like, I don't think that it just happened. It didn't happen out of nowhere. Like, we broke up a lot and we had a lot of like tumultuous things happening in our relationship. So, like, I fell out of love with him probably even like the last year that we dated. I think I was kind of forcing myself. Like, I loved him as a person, but I didn't love him like that anymore. And it just took me so long to like actually end up ending the relationship. But that's the scariest phrase. I hate when people say, we just fell out of love. Oh my God, don't say that. That's so scary because that is just not an option. Like, I feel like when you're married, it's like, well, I know they're not married, but you know what I mean? Like, when you're married, you can't just fall out of love with someone. You kind of have to, like, fight for it, no? And also, I feel like love becomes different when you get married. Not in a bad way, but I feel like it's more so, I don't know, it's like a more mature love where you're like, we love each other, but that doesn't mean that I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but love definitely evolves over time. Like, especially in the beginning of the relationship, when you're like extremely infatuated with someone, that's like a different type of love. And I'm not even sure if I would really call that love, maybe more lust. But I think as you continue in your relationship, love matures, I feel like, and evolves throughout your relationship. And I'm not saying that means that you guys like shouldn't show affection to each other and shouldn't still love each other and not like feel like giddy around each other and stuff, but it's just a different feeling because obviously as you get comfortable with someone, you're not like as you were in the beginning, but it still can be a healthy love. It's honestly more healthy to not be infatuated with someone. But I think you know what I mean. Okay, let's read some comments. Well, hey, it was nice of him to display all these crazy red flags so you know that you dodged a bullet. Also, OP, when he inevitably comes back crawling and crying that he didn't mean to do it, he just lost control because he loves you so much that he just didn't know what he was doing. Take notes that he only broke your things, not his. He had full control of himself and decided to threaten and abuse you to get his way. Do not let him convince you otherwise. Wow, this is such an important point. If he was so out of control that he didn't know what he was doing, then why did he only break her things? That takes some executive functioning and self-control and decision making. This is a man who is deeply possessive of his girlfriend as his woman property, that he will not tolerate her accompanying an ex-lifelong family friend down the aisle at her own sister's wedding to said ex's cousin. It's the ex. It's the cousin, okay. It sounds like this is a very tight-knit community. I wouldn't be surprised if Tommy is jealous of the entire situation, which makes him feel like an outsider with his property. I learned this the hard way with my ex-fiance, who kicked me out of his house when I got too ugly from cancer that he fell out of love with me. The night we met, he told me it was the Keith show, and everyone else is an NPC. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Oh, so T. Please believe them because, like I said, when you first meet someone, you're more infatuated than in love with them. and that can definitely confuse you. And I feel like you ignore a lot of things that you shouldn't ignore. And that can get you into some sticky situations, but it's all lessons learned. That's usually what I think. I think every relationship, every bad relationship, every good relationship is all lessons learned. And obviously, as much as you'd like to avoid getting into those, sometimes you can't, and sometimes you just don't. And sometimes you just ignore it. But at the end of the day, you learn a lesson, and sometimes it's a harder lesson than others, but that's usually like how I like to look at things in life, is just like, if I didn't go through that, cuz sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, I regret doing this, or I regret having this experience or being with this person," but then I think about it and I'm like, but then that wouldn't lead me to where I am now, and where I am now is where I have always wanted to be. And like, I always wanted to find a partner like I have now. And I always wanted to be with someone like my partner now, like Jack. Like, I feel like he's who I have always looked for, and who I've always, like, he's the type of person that I've just wanted. And I felt like I was never going to find. And I truly think, like, if sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't go to like this Christian school, because a lot of the experiences I had there were negative. But then I'm like, but then if I would have ended up going to the college near me in Iowa, then I wouldn't have probably ended up moving to Florida at all. And then I wouldn't have met my boyfriend now. And that's like one, just one thing. I feel like, is it called The Butterfly Effect? Because I know that movie is like, I love that movie. It's kind of, it makes me feel weird though, so I have to be in a certain mood to watch it. But with Ashton Kutcher, it's so good. But yeah, I feel like then it makes me take a look, or take a step back, and be like, okay, I'm appreciative that I made the decisions that I made, because now I'm with someone that I love so much, and that is like just the best person ever. And we have such a good relationship, and I never thought that I would have like such a healthy, good relationship. I truly never thought. Like, I thought that it was supposed to be hard, and I thought that a relationship was supposed to be something that you like fight for, and that is so hard and you have to work through. And I've realized that is actually not the case, and that you can actually be in a healthy, loving relationship with someone that loves you and treats you well and is a really, really good person, and you don't have to fight for your relationship all the time. Like, of course, we fight sometimes and we have arguments sometimes, but comparative to my other relationships, like, I can't even compare it, because it felt like, and I'll have nightmares about it. Like, I literally have nightmares about how I was with past relationships. Not how I was, but like how our relationships were, because I was just in some like toxic relationships, and I'll literally have nightmares of those like situations applied to my relationship now, and I'll have nightmares about it, and I will actually like wake up feeling like the way that I used to feel when I was in those relationships, and I hate waking up from those nightmares. They're so bad. Actually, I like waking up from them, because then I'm like, "Oh my god, like, thank God I'm not in that anymore, and thank God I didn't settle with that relationship and choose to stay in a relationship that wasn't meant for me." Thank God. But anyways, we're going to skip the advice segment today. Just for the sake of, I don't even know, I'm just gonna skip it, and we'll be back on the next episode. Well, the next full episode doing advice. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I love you guys so much, and let me know what you thought about these stories. I love to hear your thoughts and anything that you have to say about how you feel, even if you feel differently than me, because that is the beauty of life. We love to also, I always like, I not always, well, sometimes, because I know that a lot of the times you guys agree with my takes, but sometimes there are people that don't agree with my takes, which is totally fine, and all power to you. Like, genuinely, if you feel a certain way, obviously be kind about it, that's obvious. But I learn from you guys a lot, like when you comment your perspectives, or maybe things that you guys go through. that relates to the stories or the way that you interpret the stories. I learn a lot from you guys, and I really like that about this little thing we have going here. So I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.